Hey there, cats and kitties. I'm the Blues Man at sXeblues, and it's going to be a little news roundup video. This has been a couple weeks in the making. I've been kind of slacking off on following all the entertainment and geeky news for a little while because I've been, caught up in the whole DC New 52 comics thing and just busy in my offline life. So let's go ahead and jump right in and check out a bunch of stories that I've accumulated over the past couple weeks that have piqued my interest and hopefully will interest you as well. So let's talk about official badassery. That's right, with the Marvel teaser trailer, or official trailer as the case may be, for the Avengers. How much ass does this kick, and is there anyone big enough to fill it? Let's put it this way. I was just psyched by this, when we had the sort of leaked footage that came out around the time that Captain America the First Avenger came out. That excited me enough, but this puts it over the top because we're talking about a years in the making, accumulation movie of all of these different superhero characters: Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, the Incredible Hulk. You've got Black Widow in there, Hawkeye, and it's just, I'm somebody who's been chomping at the bit for a Justice League movie for a very long time. And I can equally admit that DC just hasn't had their game together as effectively as Marvel has. And to look at this trailer, we have Nick Fury, who's kind of giving us, after we get a little bit of a voiceover and look at Loki seemingly raining hell down upon the earth, we have Nick Fury basically giving us an idea of what this is all about. We need the best of the best to, to handle the things that we can't as human beings handle normally, so to speak. And, we have some great glory shots of Iron Man flying around the city, and there's a couple little things here and there of note in the trailer to me specifically. The little sort of contention between Iron Man and Captain America, and they're sizing each other up and challenging each other. And then there's a little scene going a little further into the trailer where you see Thor and Captain America seemingly duking it out. And but the penultimate moment, no pun intended being that it is at the end of the trailer, is when we have Tony Stark basically saying to Bruce Banner, I really admire how you go into a green rage monster. And then we get a few little snips of the Hulk. And I got to tell you, goosebumps. The Hulk is one of my longtime favorite characters. I didn't come into real interest of Iron Man. Aesthetically speaking, growing up, I was intrigued by what is Iron Man, but I didn't get really interested until the movies came out. I will admit that. With the Hulk, this is something that's been in my mind and in my consciousness since I was a small boy, with the Bill Bixby, Lou Ferrigno TV series. And so to see, I'm somebody who actually has no problem with the Ang Lee Hulk film or the Ed Norton Hulk film. I like them both. I like things about both of them. The overall, it could be arguable whether or not to say that they could have been done better in certain means, but I still enjoy them both. And to see the Hulk in those few brief seconds that we do at the end of the trailer just has me pumped. That's the best way I can put it. It's an excellent, snazzy trailer, and I'm juiced for the Avengers, put it that way. One last thing I want to say on it is I love the little bit of dialogue about, if we cannot save this Earth, we will avenge it. And that very much says to me, this isn't the Justice League. It's not a team of heroes trying to save the world. They will go down fighting. This has been my aesthetic, basically. In school, when I was bullied, I always figured if I had the courage enough to stand up for myself, it didn't matter whether I won or not, as long as I went down fighting with every last breath. And so here is a superhero team that is going to live up to that. And I couldn't be more stoked. So let's go ahead and move on to another story. Yet still sticking with the Avengers theme, we have two articles that will be down in the links below, along with the official trailer from Marvel's YouTube channel, that basically give us an idea of where Iron Man 3 is going to go pertaining to potentially an Avengers 2 movie. Some words have been exchanged from the people behind the film, and I won't get too detailed on it because I only admittedly did breeze through the articles, but it is intriguing to me that there will be a plot thread in Iron Man 3 that will grow into, hopefully, if the first Avengers film is successful, it will grow into an Avengers 2 kind of thing. As well as there's an article from comicbookmovie.com giving us an idea that with certain Marvel property TV shows, it will be set in the same universe as the films. And this is a sort of intriguing idea because, it kind of goes against something I believe that was said, and maybe the article even references this a while ago, where, the idea was TV and movies were going to be two different properties, and that did not only mean, storytelling and everything like that, they would be essentially unrelated. But apparently they're going back on that a little bit, and that does sound somewhat intriguing to me. So let's go ahead and move on. I did reference Justice League a little while ago, and there is a trailer for the animated feature Justice League Doom, which does look intriguing to me. The only problem I have with it is that some of the villains in the trailer are unrecognizable to me. A couple of them, I think I know who they are, but I've never read the story that this is based on that came out, and so I really don't know a heck of a lot about it. But essentially it seems to be destroy the Justice League, and it looks like they've gotten some pretty powerful cats together to do this, not the familiar rogues gallery like Lex Luthor and the Joker and so forth, but they look like they can hold their own, so it should be a pretty interesting piece when it does come out. Sticking with DC news, I was very happy to find out that Captain Marvel has not been entirely cut out of the New 52 initiative. I have been wondering, I have to admit, with certain characters like Animal Man and Resurrection Man, getting their own number ones. It did seem a little sketchy to me that some of these characters were seen as, deserving of their own number one titles. And but then I did notice that some news has come out that characters like Huntress, the JSA, are going to get little mini shots, which may or may not involve an Earth 2 scenario. But and that's arguable and debatable. But I was very happy to learn that Jeff Johns has come out and said, starting with issue number 5 of the Justice League New 52 title, they will start adding on a little sort of, bookend at the very end there to do with Captain Marvel, essentially. In other DC Comics news, we have the preliminary art. This came out of New York Comic Con for Superman Earth 1 Volume 2. And so this art looks kind of intriguing to me in that it's dark, and we have flames and skulls and Superman looking particularly peeved, and so I'm curious, what is that about? And then moving on to the DC Comics, blog, we have some Superman group comic solicits. This is giving us some previews of upcoming issues of Superman, Superboy, Supergirl, all of that stuff, Action Comics. Primarily, I go to this site for the art. I love seeing the, preview art of all these books. And so I'm totally psyched. I love, beautiful work. I like how on the cover of Action, specifically, we are getting a look at, what is probably baby Kal-El in his ship coming from Krypton or whatever. And I know from a friend of mine on YouTube that there may be some delving into his origins, and I'm really intrigued to see what the New 52 take on that is going to be. So moving on into, casting news that I found of particular interest. If you've watched any of my news videos from a long time ago up to the last few that I've done, I've been loosely following Bond 23 news, and specifically I want to talk about, from MovieFanatic.com, the potential title for the new film is Skyfall. I actually do think it sounds like a pretty cool title, let me put it that way. And also we have the actor Javier Bardem. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's basically come out, he's been rumored for a while now to potentially have a role in Bond 23, and he's come out and basically said, yes, he's been given a role, and it is official, he is in the film. Will he be playing the villain? I don't know. Chances are probably. That seems to be, the gist of the articles I've seen. But the one from Latino Review will be below, and you can check it out for yourself. So let's go ahead and move on. And what we've got is a Three Stooges teaser poster for the, upcoming Farrelly Brothers big screen sort of homage, adaptation, whatever you want to call it. This is something else that I've mentioned on and off in the past, and primarily starring Will Ferrell, Sean Hayes, Sofia Vergara, and a guy whose last name I don't even want to venture to pronounce at this early juncture. I'm going to wait until I hear it pronounced elsewhere. Playing Mo. The poster is not much to look at, I have to be honest. It's simply a white background with a silhouette of the three, and it says, "Just Say Mo," not really the perhaps most clever title they could come up with, or catchphrase, or whatever you want to call it. But, it they do fit the silhouette at the very least, and, trying to find any grain of silver lining that I can here. But it is mildly, emphasis on mildly intriguing, and we'll see where it goes. Moving on from there, we have a story from DoctorWhoTV.co.uk, which is giving us some, essentially it's not giving us a heck of a lot, with Stephen Moffat basically saying that Series 7 of Doctor Who, as far as when it's going to air and how many episodes it will be, he's giving us what I believe to be a snow job. Essentially, he doesn't want to come out with the fact that, news that will really disappoint Doctor Who fans and Whovians the world across, that, in fact, as we all suspect, the show has been pushed back, and we're only going to be getting half a series for 2 whole years, rather than 2 full series. Basically we're being conned out of an entire series of episodes, and, take from it what you will. I really have nothing else to say on it, other than I am utterly disappointed with the way the show is being handled right now. Moving on from there, we're going to jump over to Ain't It Cool News with some Superman the Man of Steel images, and this is basically for anyone who's seen, some of the preliminary images of Henry Cavill in the Superman suit, saying that it was probably padded and, made to look like he was bigger than he really was. But in fact, he is ripped out of his mind, walking around on set filming somewhere in Canada, I believe, and it's no padding as far as I can tell. So moving on to some more Marvel movie news with Thor 2. The rumored director Patty Jenkins, who has previously worked on most notably the film Monster, she's finally been confirmed as being the director for Thor 2. But with this confirmation comes an actual, the film has been pushed back from its original summer release to about fall of, I think, 2013. And, that's not really that big of a deal to me, as far as I can tell. So, good luck to her. Hopefully she will not let fans of the first film down, and will only expound upon it and bring it into new territory. To finish this out for this particular news roundup, we have a couple of videos. One is a 3-part Star Wars fan film that I actually found from over on Facebook, I believe, and it's called A Light in the Darkness. And I really, really got a kick out of this. If you're a Star Wars fan, to see a Star Wars fan film, it isn't the peak of CG, it isn't the peak of special effects technology. It's very much a fan film, but the style and the storytelling, and even though a couple of themes were a little predictable, it's still very exciting to see. And, these are people who apparently really love the Star Wars films and want to live up to that, and I think they did a pretty damn good job. So, also there is another live-action sort of fan film called Voltron: The End, and it is essentially the sort of last moments of one of the final Voltron pilots in what must have been a tremendous battle, where his whole crew was lost, and he's signing off for the last time. And the performance is great. The only complaint, if I had to find one, is that we don't get to see the Tiger Pod, or whatever you want to call it, he's piloting, till the very end. But that's going to pretty much do it for the news roundup of this week. There's a handful of stories that I will post below that I just didn't have time to talk about without running into a whole part 2, under the heading Some Extra Stuff I Didn't Get to Cover, from comic book news to other movie news, real-world sciences and technology, as well as a beautiful image of a nebula that seems to have eyes. And otherwise, check out these stories. I would love to hear some feedback from you if you thought any of this was interesting. And otherwise, I'll catch you later. Peace.